right, jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti. It's a show that talks about nothing but tries to find the lessons and everything. We have a good time doing it. Hope everybody had a good week. Mine was pretty good. Obviously, I'm on the road doing road stuff. So, the road is boring, but the road gets me back to the LPDS compound, and that'll be nice, to be back to banging over there in Texas. So I'm excited for that. I hope everybody enjoyed their week and it wasn't too crazy or hectic for you guys, and it was, productive and top tier. Hope everybody can hear me. I think my speaker's on. All right, now I think my speaker's on, and the audio should be a little better, hopefully. Maybe it'll be worse. We'll never know. But anyway, as you can see, I'm on the road. This is a road episode. So I got some great fan submissions, some fan questions to get this, keep this road trip a little bit more exciting and interesting for me. So I appreciate that. Like I said in the previous episode, you all know I have no problem thinking of unimportant topics and rambling on for God knows how long on each thing, talking to myself. But when I'm on the road, my brain is a little bit more focused on making sure I'm hitting my exits, I'm stopping on time, I'm checking my gas, I got to check my surroundings. There's a lot of stuff going on these road trips, so my brain is naturally focused on that, and it's not there's not a lot of free space for creativity. So I have a harder time coming up with decent topics or things going on in the world that I could talk about for a decent amount of time without it being boring and filled with a lot more empty words and ums and uhs and what have yous than I usually do. So when you guys submit your questions or your topic ideas or jokes or whatever, I really appreciate it. And I think it makes it more fun because it's a way to get you guys involved too. So I hope you enjoy that as much as I enjoy doing these episodes, especially since this is something I can look forward to on these long road trips by yourself. As you know, I love road trips, but I really like them with friends, or when we're stopping at multiple places and seeing sights, checking out old battlefields from the Civil War or whatever, Revolutionary War. Stopping in different cities, trying new foods and stuff. I love that stuff. These are business trips. These trips to and from New Jersey are purely transportation, to and from, so I can get all my stuff up there and bring the dog with me, so I don't get to do all that fun stuff. So this is what I look forward to, is being able to take some time to record. And that's why I always ask for as many questions and topics as possible, because it gives me an opportunity sometimes to film a couple different episodes. Now, we don't have that luxury this time around, but I understand, you guys are busy. I put this stuff up for 24 hours to solicit for questions, so I get how it is. But I appreciate you guys doing this. This is awesome for me. So with that, I don't know any current events. I'm on the road. The current events are I'm driving. I think I'm somewhere in Mississippi. Couldn't really tell you. I'm pretty sure I'm in Mississippi, just based on the clientele at the last gas station I stopped at a few minutes ago. So that's where I'm at. I got several more hours of this trip before we're back on the compound, safe and sound. So we're going to get right into it. We'll get to the good stuff. Step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Wow, we're like 5 minutes into an episode. You know me. It's usually at least 30 minutes before the cage fact hits, because I'm rambling about something. I get on one. I pick these topics, these current event topics, and I think I pick a lot of them because I think they're gonna be quick and short. And then stream of consciousness Libretti finds more things to talk about with these topics. The next thing you know, 30 minutes goes by before we hit the cage, before we step into the cage. So this is like 5-6 minutes in or whatever. This is crazy. Anyway, this is more like a Cage tip of the cap, if you will, as opposed to a Cage fact, like a new fact about him. But there's the new movie that recently came out, this new movie I think it's called Flight Risk. It's the movie with Marky Mark in it. And in the trailer, he's a pilot of this small plane, and he's supposed to be transporting this federal agent and this whistleblower, this witness who's going to rat on the mafia or whatever. And that the guy who plays that is that geek from that 70s show. I forgot his name. I think it's Rhett Foreman's son in that skinny geek. He's a good actor. He plays the witness, and Marky Mark's flying him back, and Marky Mark ends up, I guess they allude to him being a secret hitman or whatever, and then they have the whole movie is basically in the plane trying to navigate that whole situation and storyline. Apparently, it's missing something from the character development side on the protagonist, the star, the geek, his character. And a couple of articles I read were paying respects to Nic Cage's character in Con Air, and that's how you do it right when it comes to these protagonists who are supposed to be the hero of the movie, but they're also in a situation that makes you think they're not a hero. Like, this guy's in custody, so he must have done something wrong or illegal to be put in federal custody. He's not just the state's witness that's coming out to whistleblow. He must have been a bad guy that was getting pinched and made a deal to go rat on the other bad guys. So Con Air has the same situation where Nic Cage is the hero, but he's also in jail because he killed a guy. Now, obviously, he was self-defense, and his hands were, the reason why he went to jail is his hands were deadly weapons, according to the judge, which was a funny little scene in Con Air itself. But a lot of these film critics and reviewers were paying respects to Nic Cage's character because he was a more developed character. Yes, he did something wrong, but he had more good to him that he showed throughout the movie of Con Air, that you were able to connect with him more as the hero, and you rooted for him even more so. So besides the fact that he went to jail basically because he was protecting his pregnant wife from these hoodlums, and he happened to be a Green Beret or whatever he was, and he happened to kill this one guy in self-defense. The movie started out with him being a good guy doing the right thing by his lady. And then even in prison, when they're in the Con Air, in the aircraft, he's protecting Bubba Gump. What was Bubba's last name? Bubba Blue. He was protecting him the whole time, plus the lady cop in the plane and all this stuff. And then he was working with John Cusack on the ground and leaving him hints so they can save the flight and all that stuff. So he was doing good guy things the whole time. And I guess apparently, this is, if you haven't seen Con Air, this is one of those things where I talked about in a previous episode. The window has closed for me to feel bad about spoilers. Okay, Con Air came out in the 90s. If you haven't seen it yet and I just spoiled the movie for you, too bad. Okay, I don't care about that one. The statute of limitation on spoilies has closed years ago. Anyway, apparently this Flight Risk movie does not do a great job with the character development for you to connect to the good guys and dislike the bad guys. There's too much ambiguity there, and I don't know if they did that on purpose because they want you to have that internal struggle of whether or not you like the star, the protagonist or not. I don't know what it is, because I haven't seen the movie. I don't think it's out yet. Maybe it just came out. I don't know. But they paid respects to Nic Cage, saying, hey, if you want to do it right with this sort of storyline of these sort of possible, guys who've done bad things but are trying to do good and they're supposed to be the hero, go follow, Cameron Poe and Con Air. So, there you go. That's the Cage fact. All right, moving over to the junction. We'll spin the logo up. We've got a couple of fan submissions. And we might be out of here pretty quick. Who knows? So, as you guys know, usually, how I normally do this, I'll put out a feeler on Instagram and Facebook or whatever to get some ideas for topics or questions, stuff that I can just rattle off in conversation on these road trips. So I got some good input from folks there. I honestly, if you left any submissions or feedback on Facebook, I completely forgot to look on Facebook, so I don't know for sure if anybody did, and if you did, I missed it. So I'm not going to talk about it here, and I apologize. So if I find any, I'll take those and I'll make another episode out of it. So I appreciate you guys doing that. I apologize if I missed them though. So the first one, I got this a couple times actually, so we'll just talk about this. Thoughts on the Super Bowl or Super Bowl predictions. I'm trying to think. Oh, this episode will air before the Super Bowl, I believe. I'm pretty sure of it. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it will. You got the Chiefs and the Eagles. There's a lot, for whatever reason, there's a lot of people out there who don't like the Chiefs. They hate the Chiefs because they think the refs are on their side, and they think the NFL and the commissioner, Roger Goodell, that creep, are scripting the game so that they can get the Chiefs in the Super Bowl all the time because Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce, so they're going to get more viewership if the Chiefs keep playing because all the Swifties are going to be watching the game for that reason. I don't know if that's true. What the pattern though, if you follow football, the NFL specifically, and you watched it for several years, this is following a similar pattern you see with when you start building these good teams and they start becoming dynasty teams. When you get good enough that you're constantly in the championship games, the Super Bowls, and you're constantly a contender to win it all, and it doesn't seem like anyone's going to beat you no matter what, the football watching world starts to all come together to hate you. You become the evil empire. It's the same with baseball too. You don't hear a lot of people shit talking the Yankees these days, not nearly as much as when they were in the World Series every other year, back in the 90s and early 2000s, when they were actually competing for World Series and winning 3, 4, 5 World Series. Everybody hated them. The hate was so much stronger. Now, there's still a big, strong hate for the Yankees, but that's just built off a time and history of teams losing to them and them being the evil empire and this and that. But it's definitely quieted down since they've been basically garbage for over a decade now. And even this, as you know, this recent stint in the World Series for them was a fluke. And everybody saw it. Especially in that final game in the 5th inning of that final game against the Dodgers. Everybody saw what a fluke the Yankees were and how they weren't actually good at all. But you see it, that's how you see in sports. When one team starts to dominate the league for multiple years in a row, they become the evil empire. So that's what's going on with the Chiefs. Everybody hates them. I don't mind them at all. They're on their way. They could win their 3rd Super Bowl in a row, which has never been done before. And they'll be considered a dynasty team, just like the Patriots were several years ago, just like the Cowboys were in the 90s. Nobody cares about the Cowboys anymore because they've been absolute dog shit since 1997. But they were hated. I still have hatred for the Cowboys because of that from back in the day. Now, I used to love Deion Sanders and Emmitt Smith, and I used to pretend to be like them. And I used to watch Cowboy games because of them, because I liked good players. But they were, in the Giants division, so I hated them. So it's a standard pattern. It has something to do with Taylor Swift. Yeah, it's a little bit more annoying that the cameras are clearly fishing for Taylor Swift clips more when you're watching the Chiefs games than before. But that's whatever. That's obviously they're going to do that. They're a for-profit business trying to make money any way they can, and they do all sorts of shady things to maximize profits. So that's nothing new. Otherwise, I don't mind the Chiefs at all. I like Patrick Mahomes. I think he's awesome. I think Travis Kelce is good. I love Andy Reid, the Walrus. I love that dude. I even liked him when he was coaching the Eagles, and I hate the Eagles. And I liked Andy Reid. So I don't mind the Chiefs. I want them to win. Everyone's saying, 1% of the country wants the Chiefs to win, 1% wants the Eagles to win, and 98% want want both teams to lose and want them to lose. And I want the Chiefs to win. I'm part of that 1% that wants the Chiefs to win, because I don't mind the team. I like they play good football. I love Andy Reid. They have Steve Spagnuolo as a defensive coordinator, who was a Giants defensive coordinator when they were winning Super Bowls, which is crazy to think about, the Giants actually winning a Super Bowl. So I definitely want them to win. I think they could actually do it. I hate the Eagles, and I know I'm going to be biased. And I know there's LPDS fans who are Eagles fans on they'll listen to this show. I don't hate you guys. I like Philly. I like the Philly scumbags. I like the Delco dirtbags. I like the Philly people. Do I think they're scum? Yeah, but I'm a scum guy too. I don't mind that, and I know that they're just doing what they do. If I was from Philly, I'd be a Philly scumbag for the Eagles as well. Thankfully, I'm not. So I just I have to endure the Eagles absolutely embarrassing the Giants year in and year out. I love Saquon Barkley. Obviously, I have no hatred towards him, even though he left the Giants. It's not his fault. If I were him, I would have left as well. I actually like Jalen Hurts too. I think he's really good. I think he gets a lot of shit. Obviously, when you play for the Eagles, you're going to get shit no matter what. And I like Big Dom. Their head coach Sirianni he's a dweeb. He's a try-hard. Whatever. I don't think the team's success or failures hinges too much on him, per se. But I don't want the Eagles to win. Again, NFC East Division, where the Giants play, they're the enemy. So naturally, I don't want them to win. Do I think they're good? Yeah. But I also think that the Chiefs are really good, and the Chiefs have that sort of magic it factor right now that even when they're playing bad, they're finding a way to win. So the Eagles really have to play perfect football and also dominate the Chiefs on the scoreboard that's the only way that they're going to be able to win. If the game is close, I don't think the Eagles are going to. If the game is close, the Chiefs will win. That's what I think is going to happen. Could I be wrong? Sure, of course. It's the Super Bowl. Anything can happen any given Sunday. But I've seen too many times over the past several years, this year especially, but over the past several years, the Chiefs find a way to win. Now, people blame the refs all the time. Sure, whatever. People blame the refs for a lot of the calls and scores from the Eagles-Redskins game that happened a couple weeks ago. A lot of the Commanders fans were bitching and moaning that the game would have been a lot closer and a lot different from all these hometown calls that the Eagles, apparently got. I don't think that's the case. I just don't think the Commanders were that good. I think they were getting lucky. But so now you have two teams where people have been bitching all season that they're getting all the good calls. So that kind of cancels out. So who's going to get the calls now? Now, I'm sure if the Chiefs win the Eagles fans will say, oh, they got all the calls. And I'm sure if the Eagles win, the Chiefs fans will say, the Eagles got all the calls. That's how it always goes. The losers are gonna do loser behavior. I do it too with the Giants. I try not to anymore because I've accepted the fact that the Giants just stink, and it's not the ref's fault. It's their fault. They stink. But you're going to see that loser behavior from whoever loses. That being said, I want the Chiefs to win. I think it's actually going to be a close game. I want it to be a blowout. I want the Chiefs to just absolutely embarrass the Eagles, but I don't think that's going to happen. Saquon's too good. The Eagles' defense is too good, I think. I don't know how consistent they are, but if they play their game, it's going to be a good game. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, and I know my boy, the Scuse, Nicky Scuse, is listening in. I'm sure he's a Birds fan, and he's probably eating this shit up, knowing that I hate the fact that I have to watch this game because it's the Eagles, and that Saquon Barkley is basically the dark horse for the MVP. He's so good. MVP, not BP. What the hell is that? But objectively speaking, I think it's going to be a close game. Both teams are solid. I think the Chiefs I think they're just more consistently successful. And I think they're going to be able to pull this one out again. So, we'll see how it goes. So thank you for the couple people who asked about, that question about the Super Bowl. The next we got, I'm trying to remember, my favorite trip I've ever taken. I've taken a lot of great trips. And I don't want to really... I know if I pick one, there's going to be people who are like, why wasn't this one your favorite? We got to hang out together. So it's always a tough call when I think about that stuff. I have to say, though, my favorite trip so far in life, from a vacation standpoint, not deployments or work-related trips, I'd have to say my trip to Italy back in 2013, I think it was, with Nikki Sticks and JPL3. My sister didn't want to go because she didn't want to take the whole family there. Too expensive. And then my mom didn't want to go because she spent her money on house renovation she wanted to do. So she's like, nah, I'll save my money for this. You guys go have a good time. And that's what we did. We had a great time. And I parlayed that trip to Italy over to a Sweden trip to go visit my brother Bonji, who was playing baseball in Sweden. So when Sticks and JPL3 flew home at the end of the Italy trip, I flew up to Sweden and had a grand old time there. So that whole experience between Italy and Sweden, not even close, my favorite trip. And now I'm not gonna get into all the details of the trip. It was a long time ago, so I forget a lot of stuff. But I think me and Sticks ate a snack pizza every day. Like, that was just part of the day. In lunchtime, we got a tiny little snack pizza each, and then we got our steps in walking around the different cities we went to, and it was just tremendous. We got to see family there and eat home-cooked, homemade Italian from scratch. Like, everything we ate was made in that house. From the meat they got from their own pigs and cows on their farms, to the pasta they made themselves. Everything, the wine was, everything was, the fruit was off their trees. Everything was self-sustained in their own compounds. Now, it wasn't just one house. There was all the relatives lived on the same street that we have, so it was a little bit of a commune kind of thing, a little community. But that was unrivaled. And then we traveled to the coast in Italy. It was great. And then up in Sweden was a different, experience altogether. So absolutely my favorite trip that I've taken so far. And I'm excited to take more trips just like that when I have more money and have built the financial freedom and the time freedom to go do that stuff. I'm excited to do more stuff like that in the near future. So that was my favorite trip. Thank you for that question. The next question I got, I'm trying to remember. Damn, I know I'm going to miss some here. One of them was, if you could take a road trip with anybody, alive or dead, who would it be? Now, if I had to pick one, the obvious answer is Nic Cage. That's the obvious answer. He's the guy. I'm going on a road trip with him. Doesn't matter. I don't care where we're going, for how long. That's the guy. But I did think about, what other folks have, maybe there's folks who have passed on that I would have liked to take a road trip. I don't know. There's a lot of cool people in this world that I would have enjoyed the company on a road trip to go with. It would have been nice to take a short road trip with my grandfather, JPL too. When I was older and old enough to like drive and kind of take in, the adult experience of spending time with a grandparent, he was sick already. He passed away my third year of college. I was still a college student. And I was away in college, so he was sick most of the time. So I got my fix of my grandparents when I was a kid, but I missed out on a lot of good adult time where I could have actually taken in their stories and wisdom a lot better. So I would like to have taken a nice day trip with JPL2 somewhere, even if it was down the Jersey Shore or something like that. That would have been a cool experience to have, to be able to take that in a little bit better. And it's one of those, like, if you knew then what you know now, that's, with what I've learned over time and the things that, like the wisdom you take in over experiences and mistakes and lessons and stuff, if I had that chance, I would have taken full advantage of that now. That would have been great. It would have been a great trip for me anyway. Maybe he wouldn't have liked it, but I certainly would have. So if I had to pick a non-celebrity, it would have been him. Otherwise, the other people I think I'd pick, I've gone on road trips with before. So it's tough to answer that question because I've lived it, which is a very, fortunate thing for me. I'm blessed to be able to say that. Again, I don't regret missing out on road trips with my grandfather, but I never got a chance to do it, so it would have been awesome to do that. The other people I would have would have liked to do it. I've taken those opportunities between friends, family members. I've gone on road trips with Sticks, my old man, my brother, a bunch of different brothers for different trips. It's been great. So I don't necessarily think everybody else on the list. I would have done it already. I did it already. So, long story longer, Nic Cage is the only one outside of the family, I guess you can say, and that's obvious. Why wouldn't? I don't know anybody who wouldn't want to take that road trip, in my opinion. So, anyway, moving on. The next question was, there's 2 questions left. Let me go back and check real quick. Stand by, folks. All right, we're back. Got the question. I got the second to last question. And obviously it's got a little Nic Cage twist to it, so I appreciate that. But yeah, look, you want to get my attention, you sneak a little Nic Cage into the mix some way, some shape, some form, and you're going to get me hooked on that conversation. So thank you for doing that. The question was, what are my thoughts on the rumors going around that Ryan Gosling might take on the role of Ghost Rider in upcoming Marvel movies? Now, I'm only slightly torn by this, and it's not because of the Ghost Rider being in it. I'm more torn because, and I'm probably going to get some shit for this, but I'm over the superhero movies. We're getting close to 20 years of these superhero big blockbuster action movies that they're just squeezing every last penny out of, and they have clearly deteriorated in quality over the years to the point where they're becoming unwatchable. I'm just tired of them. And I know there's people out there who were diehard superhero movie fans, and they'll still go see them in theaters, and they don't want to admit. You could tell in the way they say, like, "Oh yeah, I liked the movie. It was good. It was enjoyable." But you could tell deep down in their soul that they didn't like it, but they can't say that because they're locked into the Marvel universe or the DC universe or whatever, the superhero movies. I have no problem. If I don't like a movie, I'm going to tell you, I thought it stunk. And I don't like, there's a lot of movies that I don't like that other people do like a lot. So I don't, I'm not, there's no right or wrong. It's obviously personal preference and it's all subjective and relative. That's fine. But I personally am tired of the Marvel movies. I'm over it. They're bringing back Captain America without Captain America. They're just changing guys. They tried to transition over, and they did it very sneakily. Not sneakily, but they did it in the last Endgame movie. At the end of that movie, by the way, the statute of limitations on spoilers to that one has also closed. So if you didn't watch the end of Endgame, don't care. But Steve Rogers gives his shield over to the Falcon. What was his name? The Blue Falcon? I forgot who plays Anthony Richardson. I forgot the actor's name. He's a good actor. I like him a lot in general, but he was the Falcon or whatever his name was in the superhero, the Marvel movies, the Avengers. And Steve Rogers, Captain America, gave his shield over because he's going to go retire and go take an alternate timeline to where he's never Captain America and he gets to live a long life with that gal that he liked from World War II. And now so now they knew, like, oh yeah, so now we can make a Captain America with him as Captain America, with the Falcon as the captain, and we good to go. And now they're making the movie now, and it's been a production nightmare. A bunch of reshoots, changing scripts. They don't even have a script when they're doing reshoots. It's all a bunch of green screen stuff that the actor doesn't, the new Captain America actor doesn't even know who he's like fighting in the scenes. He's just fighting green screens, and it's not good. I don't think it's going to be a good one. I don't expect it to be good, and that's just indicative of what the Marvel movies have become, or even the TV shows. They're just trying to squeeze every last drop out of it. Even the third Doctor Strange, I was so over it. I went to go see it in theaters because I do enjoy action movies, and I have I love the original Avengers movies, and I like to watch them. I watch them all in order of like actual storyline order, so I could get a real good understanding of like where everybody connects in the storylines and all that stuff. And I thought it was great. I thought it should have stopped at Endgame. Now I was wrong with that because the latest Spider-Man with Tom Holland was really awesome. I love that one. The Spider-Man into the Spideyverse, the computer ones have been great. I don't count really those as nearly the same as the other Marvel, the live action Marvel movies. That's this is all computers, like almost like a cartoon, so it's a little different. So I think I consider it to be a different genre of superhero movies altogether because they can do more with it. It's computers. You can do anything you want there. So I like those. But the Doctor Strange number 3, I thought it was way overrated. Way overrated. The storyline was just so ridiculous to me. It was the lady. What the hell was her name? She's a Marvel character who becomes essentially the bad guy in this one. Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm gonna blow it. Bone Crusher will have to hit me up in the comments after he hears me butcher this. Wanda. Is it WandaVision? The chick who's in WandaVision? Whatever. She's like this all-powerful superhero that not even Doctor Strange can take on, and she's killing everybody with the snap of a finger. If she was that strong, why didn't she take on Thanos in Endgame with the snap of a finger? She's like, the way they made her unstoppable in Doctor Strangelove 3, she should have been able to take on Thanos 1v1. So it didn't make any sense. And then everything about the storyline was just so ridiculous to me. I was so tired of it. So I don't expect this next Captain America to be any good. Am I going to watch it? Not in theaters, but I will watch it when it comes out on streaming probably. Because I like Harrison Ford and he's in it. So if Indiana Jones is in it, I'll probably watch it at some point. Or at the very least, I'll wait to get some good reviews from my trusted sources, whether it be the Bone Crusher, Bonji, Creature, Steve McStiff, these guys who I know have good, heads on their shoulders when it comes to movies and reviewing movies. So if they see it first, I'll get their takes on it before I make a decision on when I'm going to watch the movie. But long story longer, that being said, that's why I'm torn about the idea of Gosling coming in as Ghost Rider, because I don't want it anymore. I'm done with the Marvel movies. I'm over them. That being said, I love Gosling. And I know Nic Cage, I don't want him to do Ghost Rider anymore. He wouldn't be able to do it justice from a superhero standpoint, because they're supposed to be superheroes. Flipping through the air, doing all this stuff, and they're just gonna CGI or stuntman mostly CGI Nic Cage doing all that stuff if he was Ghost Rider. So I don't want to see that. So I don't mind if it's Gosling who does it. I love Gosling. I think he's a great actor. He would make a great Ghost Rider. So I wouldn't mind seeing him do it. But that, again, I don't want to see any more Marvel movies. I think the money train has left the station. So unless you're going to make a really good movie again, actually take the time to make it the storyline better and make it make sense more, then I don't want to see it. So, but thank you for the question. I appreciate that. Last question, and then we're out of here, folks. Applebee's or Chili's? This is a quick one for me. Chili's. Do I hate Applebee's? No. Do I think both are trash? Yeah. They're fast food trash. They're coming at like the bar and grill style, whatever, but they're trash and we all know it. But here's the thing. They're not pretending to be gourmet meals. They both compete for let's give them the most amount of shitty food for the least amount of money. Applebee's has like the half-priced appetizer deals, at happy hour or some shit like that. Chili's has their happy hour strawberry margarita or Dr. Pepper deals that they offer you. They're not pretending to be gourmet restaurants, 5-star Michelin-rated restaurants. They know what they are. They're garbage, and I'm here for that. When you are honest and transparent about what you are, and you know what you are, and you're not trying to hide behind something, I can get on board with that no matter how bad it is. And I like both of them from a trash perspective. But I'm going to go Chili's. I went to Chili's more when I was in college. Used to get the margarita chicken meal. And you could substitute double broccoli instead of the fries, so you can get a little healthier with it, a little paleo health with it. That was back when I was doing trying out the paleo diet back in the day. And then they have, cheap margaritas, cheap Marg Daddies. That's right up my alley. And I think the Marg Daddies, while they're not great, they're a little bit better than the Applebee's Marg Daddies. But I'm not opposed to Applebee's. I have to pick one here. I'm going with Chili's, but I like them both. I think they're both trash, and I like doing trash stuff sometimes. So there you go. Thank you for the question. Great question. I could talk for hours and hours on trash food like that, but I'm going to spare you guys on this time around. And that's all I got today, folks. So before we go, very quickly, the big three, the three pillars of staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, be able to spread that goodness to all those around you and throughout the land. Number one, exercise every day. Do something every day to improve your fitness physically, mentally, or emotionally. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person, be a kind person. When the opportunity arises to be negative and shitty, even if somebody deserves it, take the LPDS step back, omit yourself from the situation, go focus on more positive, productive things with your lives. Number 3, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. You can do that every day by actively taking time out of your day, a couple of seconds, to think about at least one good thing in your life and think about what your life would be like without that good thing and how shitty it would be. And that immediately puts you in a state of gratitude and you start feeling better about yourself. And you do that more and more each day, and you couple that with not being a shitty person, being a kind person. You couple that with exercising every day. I promise you guys, you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being. You'll be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell your friends and enemies. Put those notifications on and hit that hotline 202-670-1114. Any questions you have, any shit talks you have, any ideas you have, any advice you're looking for, hit that hotline 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.